Good morning, glorious tribe. I am so delighted to be here with you this morning to talk to some really big, exciting topics, and of course also to introduce to you all of the details for the third level scholarship, because I have been promising that for some time, but I'm finally ready to make the details public and to let you know how you can be part of this and how you can, if you're considering the third level but financial reasons have prevented you from booking your interview, that this may be the way that you are able to think about accessing the program. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit more about the idea of spiritual leadership and really the idea of what it takes to become masterful in your intuition. One of the things that I am so honored by and privileged to see is that so many of the women who join the third level are already profound intuitives. They're already on the path of service and they're already making a difference to the world, but they recognize within them the capacity to go further, the capacity to become even more masterful or more skilled in accessing non-local intuition and in having communion with that which cannot be known through the dominant senses. So what I am witnessing more and more is that these women are willing to see themselves as the spiritual leaders that they are, which means by definition to me someone who is always striving to go further, deeper, higher, farther, and to know themselves as God with even more power and potency. So when you are thinking about, is the third level right for me, for example, one of the questions that will often come up is, well, first of all, I either have no experience or I have lots of experience. I'm already on the path of service, or I haven't even let my own partner know that I'm spiritual. Is that the way that we measure who is ready for the third level? And of course the answer to that is no. And that's why there is an entry interview. It's not so that I can get you to show me your resume and talk me through all of your all of your back history. What I want to see, feel, hear and know through my intuition is your readiness to be seen. And by that I mean that the spiritual leader is teaching by demonstrating. This is what A Course in Miracles tells us a teacher is that we teach by demonstrating. And so our lives cannot be excluded from the work that we do. And the incongruence or the inconsistencies we see in, or have seen in people who do this work for a living and then go home and be something different, that does not sit with the spiritual leader. That is not something that is going to fly, because we are on this path of service, and that is a whole of life or holy endeavor. There is no way to exclude yourself. And so as my beautiful priestesses, especially those coming to the end of their training, are aware that your entire life will probably feel like it will be turned upside down and around, but not without intent. The intention is to align who and what you are with what you do. So that means going beyond your own limited beliefs about what you are to meet your optimized, unlimited self. And that is truly what it is to be a spiritual leader, is to see no limits to what is possible for you and to see others in the same way. So a leader is an inspirer believer, to see in others what they maybe not are able to see in themselves yet. And that is what spiritual leadership for me is all about, is that you are able to see God in the other, or unlimited consciousness in the other, even when they are still believing in their own finite, limited self. And so when I'm interviewing the women for the third level, I know there are some of them who may feel that they are surprised that I believe that they're ready, but because I am not looking at the evidence as it is now, but I am looking at what I know will occur as a result of the program and what is sitting inside of them, what is innately there, this yearning to be of service goes so far beyond having a job that is spiritual. It is about, am I willing to hold nothing back from God? Am I willing to put my agenda down with God? And this is another great practice that we did recently with my third level priestesses is, what's your agenda with God? You may think that you're agendaless, but that's actually not true. That very often we turn up to our spiritual seeking with a list of what we expect in return for being good people. But what we're doing as a spiritual leader is we're going beyond our agenda. We're going to the places that we did not know we could go. And we're going and we're coming back with this absolute fierceness that means that we can stand as the priestesses of the new age priestesses outside of the temple in the world, doing the work in the world with this absolute spiritual fire in us, that because we have met the darkest places inside of ourselves. This is why this program is also appropriate for women who are far more experienced on the path, because it does not matter how long you have been doing this spiritual work. There is always more power within you because you are unlimited. And right now we are all living inside of borrowed limits. It doesn't really matter how much we think we have met. There is always more that we can release. The joyful thing, of course, is as you learn through the training, is that you do not continue to release through fear and trauma and stress and anxiety and horrible life situations. You get to make a choice to become the architect of consciousness, and that you are able to facilitate awakening in others, not through taking them back into the illusion of their history, the illusion of their trauma, but to reunite them with their God self, the God consciousness that is in all of us. For some of us it is more dormant than others because no one ever told us who and what we truly are. So that's really what spiritual leadership to me is that I see you and I know you as God or unlimited consciousness, and I will do everything I can by meeting that limit inside of myself to reunite you with your unlimited self. So it is never the case that a third level priestess will ever be able to say to you, I'm doing this for you, but I'm going to go home and like eat all the chips or pick a fight with my boyfriend or get drunk or whatever. The third level priestess will be the one who stands in congruence with you. They will stand with you. They will do the practices with you. They will hold you. They will scaffold you because their energy is congruent. It means that their energy can show you what you truly are because they have gone on a journey to meet themselves. And I bow to all of them because every single one of my just absolutely incredible students, to use one of Amy Lou's terms, is willing. She is a willing woman. And there are days where she is less willing. And there are days where she wants to, burn my house down. But every single woman who completes this training has gone to a level that I know qualifies them to receive the acknowledgement as intuition master. And what does that mean? What is an intuition master versus someone who's got intuitive skill or psychic skill? An intuition master is absolutely someone who knows and understands the laws of the cosmos, how things truly work. Not that they have studied how to, pick up an oracle card and kind of, figure out what that person's feeling based on looking at them or deducing through their biological, intuitive skill. They have gone into infinite, unlimited consciousness to access information that serves the awakening of that person that they are serving at that moment in time, that will unlock the God consciousness within the person. And once again, it is only possible when you have done that for yourself. So that the spiritual leader in that role of guide for the person who is willing to go beyond their own fear cannot be sitting in fear to do that, or when fear rises they have to be willing to meet it. So we see how this program is really much less about giving you a whole bunch of psychic skills and teaching you how to talk to dead people. We don't do that, by the way. It is about going beyond belief. It is about remote viewing through the dimensions of time and space. It is about accessing unlimited consciousness to be a divine channel of that for those that are with you, so that you may never be afraid of your life anymore. To live without fear of your own life, your own existence is bliss, and to be able to trust that everything that is occurring is serving you even when you don't know why. To know how to live in that state, that is it. Yes, Katie Cruz, stepping into your sovereignty. It is so perfect. There is no better description than that. And that is what your third level priestess will do for you. And as a student or a trainee priestess, you are not coming in to say, I don't know already how to access my intuition. You may have incredible intuition. In fact, that qualifies you even, that gives you a head start, if you like, to know that you have great intuitive skill. But the great intuitive master will never rest. They will never know the limits of what is possible for them, because they know that whilst they believe at all in the illusion of separation, that basically there is a limit that can be overcome, that every single borrowed limited belief can be undone, and that when we are absolutely able to hold grace or immanence, then we're probably getting to the point where we're ready to evolve out of this time and space. I did a meditation last night, and as I was coming out of it, this vision appeared before me that was so real, you know, a vision that is no longer outside of you, but actually is you. And in this vision, I saw thousands of women who had reclaimed their role as priestess in the world, and we all sat together in this incredible temple that actually looked like a mosque. I grew up in the Middle East, so I got to have a lot of insight into what a mosque looks like, but this one was pure white marble. And there were thousands of us, and we were gathered together, and every single one had said, yes, I will be unafraid of my power, that I am a divine channel for the infinite, that I am, you know, the divine feminine made manifest. And divine feminine power, intuition is that, because intuition is a receptive power. So by my definition, the divine feminine is the receptive capacity, the power to receive, not the forcing, pushing out into the world, but the drawing in of infinite, unlimited consciousness into the self to receive what you are. And together we sat, and the thousands of us seated in this temple space together, we were building, we were architects of consciousness. We were building the new reality together as one. And it became very clear to me that we who identify as the contemporary priestess, as the intuition master, as the contemporary mystic, that we are a tribe, and that tribe, when we find one another, our power is exponentially increased. And so, yes, we can do this work on our own, absolutely, but look to the cause of that for yourself. If you are thinking, well, I can't join a program like this because I already have a business, and that means that I will be lessened because competition, blah, 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 that we are perhaps thinking in the masculine paradigm of power, but the feminine paradigm of power, the divine feminine power, is that as we gather together, we elevate together and we create something greater than ourselves, but we are not excluded from that. This is not martyrdom. This is not self-sacrifice. I'm not asking you not to be successful and powerful. On the other hand, I'm actually asking you to show me God's glory by being the most successful, most powerful, most abundant priestess that you can be. But that to think that we must only, you know, to have power over is the only way to do that is the male paradigm. And it's really not good enough anymore for us to sit in that thinking. You know, I have seen women who I could see their leader, their spiritual leader, about to fly and to raise high, and their fear that meant that somehow they were, because they weren't 100% doing it on their own, that it wasn't real or genuine. Like, you know, this is what sisterhood is. This is what connection is that we become more powerful as spiritual leaders when we lead together. And that doesn't mean compromise. It's not like being in high school where you're forced to, you know, do an assignment with the kid who does no work and they get all the glory and you've done all the work, and you're just like sitting there and, you know, like, oh my God, that person took all the credit for my good work. No, it's not like that. That's high school. I am talking about the capacity for you to see within others what they cannot see for themselves, and that every time a woman is turned on to her own infinite glory, to her own God self, to her own unlimited self, that empowers all of us. Okay, so I'm not asking you to put down your desire for success, for power, for authority, for all of the things that you are innately born with. You are here to lead the revolution, sister. There is no part of this that I am asking you to put down your desire for all of that worldly success, because this is a dream that we inhabit. And if it is a dream, why would we have the nightmare version of it? If we are truly proving ourselves as architects of consciousness, why would we not have the most glorious version of that? Why would we sit in the suffering shit pile if we're showing the world that we are priestesses of consciousness? So for me, success in the dream is simply a credit to the fact that I have overcome the belief that the dream is real. I have decided to engineer a reality that is more magnificent than evidence might suggest. So all of that is truly coming back to the idea that spiritual leadership is that all of us can take our place. The other thing I want you to remember is that very often in the groups that we're in and the places that we're in are a little bit like an echo chamber. So you might think every single woman that you know is woke and that she's on her spiritual path and that she's tapping into her intuitive skills. But if you step outside of your, you know, carefully curated environment on Facebook and step into the world, go and tell me how many of the women that you meet are awake to their own magnificence. Because I don't see it. I don't see it. I see fear. I see doubt. I see putting ourselves in a position of martyrdom to the men that we marry and continually subjugating ourselves. That is the wider world. And yet every time one of us says, yes, I will lead, we are not saying I will have power over others. We are saying that as I awaken, I ignite a fire that sets another woman's soul alight. And that is what it is to rise together. So this is what I believe the third level in the Institute stands for. And that's why no matter how skilled you are or how much you doubt your skill, it is not your job to figure out your readiness. Simply know that God's readiness is what you need to rely on. I will take you through a year that will change your mind about yourself right down to the absolute subatomic particle. You will not believe that you are small and little and helpless and unglorious by the time you reach the end of this training. And if you already have a pretty good perception of yourself, your perception of yourself will be so elevated that you will not be able to help but save the world. I read something last night. I was in the lesson that I was in A Course in Miracles, and it was I am free to save the world. I am spirit. I am free to save the world. And I was like, oh my God, yes, I am. I am free to save the world. But in order to do that, I have to put down my little self. I have to be willing to meet my own gloriousness. And that is what this is about. Okay. I think, as you said, preach. I think I preached. All right, so what I would like to do now then, for those of you who may be considering the third level, but who are prevented from participating because of financial reasons, the Institute has an inclusion policy. So we very much do not want to prevent you, dear sister, from being part of this program if the financial impediment is the reason you cannot join. Now, this is a $2,000 scholarship that goes towards the overall tuition for the program, and I will post all of these details so you can read them all. But effectively, we are asking you to self-assess. Of course, we're not going to ask you to produce any kind of evidence that you don't have and the funds available, but you get to self-assess. So you get to determine your, I can't think of the word, how eligible you are for this scholarship. Now, this scholarship is $2,000. That still means that there is a significant tuition fee of around $5,000 for the year. I have no doubt of the value of this program. I have no doubt of the value of this program, but I do understand that there are points in time where a woman may feel ready to take this step but not have the financial capacity. So I need you to self-assess. I need you to determine, am I the one who should receive this scholarship? Is my need great, and is it appropriate for me to apply for this? So that's the first step. First of all, you assess your need. The second is that you go to the instituteforintelligence.com/third level and you read the prospectus and you make a decision if this program sounds right for you. So this is training as a contemporary mystic, as a modern day priestess, and as a spiritual leader to qualify as an intuitive guide in the intuitive intelligence method to step up into the world with this skill and power. It is a life-changing year, and you will come out with a very, very powerful capacity to serve. Once you've read the prospectus and you feel like the course is right for you, then you need to book your interview. And in fact, that is vital, because this entry into this program is by interview. As I said, that's how I determine your readiness. You don't need to figure out if you're ready. You need to, if you're called to do this program, there's a good chance that you're ready. So I would like to invite you to book an interview with me. The interviews we have a limited number of interviews available. We're already sort of over halfway with our interview spots. So if you do feel like this is something you want to be part of, then please book your interview. And as I said, all of these details I will post, but that's also on the Institute page. And then the final thing that you need to do to be eligible is to share the Institute Facebook page. And in that share, you're going to write a response to this statement. I'm ready to take my place as a student of the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence and to train in the third level program as a spiritual leader and intuitive guide because, and then make sure you tag us once you've shared that and added your response so that we can know that you've entered. And I think we've got a few entries coming in right now. We've emailed a few people who registered their interest early on. So I'm going to share this here. Yes, Julie, you do. So the prerequisite is the Initiate program. That used to be called Level 1 and 2. It's now called the Initiate program. That's a 12-week online course, and we only do one live round per year. The next one's not till next year. However, if you are interested in the 3rd level, then what happens is that you can do that program at any time, and that's just the evergreen version. So you get the 12 weeks of content without the live tutorial, and that you can start at any time. So that program is also available online, and I'll share all the links to that as well. The reason we have a prerequisite to the 3rd level is because this is a whole of life commitment, a holy commitment, and I need to know that every priestess who enters into the temple has had that foundational knowledge, the laws of the cosmos. You will never regret attaining this initiation. It is a truly powerful program, but it is absolutely available to you, and there is, I believe, a financial remuneration. So that program has a cost attached to it, but we do offset that cost if you continue to the 3rd level. So that's another way that we're trying to make it inclusive. So all the terms and conditions are on my bit of paper, which I can't put into the computer, but you know what, I will put the digital version there for you. So what I need you to know, though, is that the entries will close on the 1st of April for the scholarship. So that means that by then you need to have assessed your need. You need to have read the prospectus. If you're still interested, book your interview, and then share, as I said, the Institute Facebook page, and put your your response and tag us in that. So I'll put all of this information with this post so you can see it all in front of you, and that information will be available on the Institute page as well. It's very exciting. I've always offered a scholarship, but this is the first year that I'm doing it as a public process. So previously I would look at the initiates that the priestesses who had applied, and then I would assess need and offer the scholarship. But this year I feel like I want to make it a more open and more kind of transparent process, so that if there is that desire to be part of this program, but there isn't the capacity to meet the full tuition fee, then I would absolutely invite you to do that. And the other way I want you to think about that is if that you are thinking that you would like to be part of the 3rd level, and there is a capacity for you to meet the tuition fee, knowing that it is incredible value, and I'm sure any of my sisters who are here with me today who are doing the program right now will attest to that. We've kept the prices, I believe, at a very fair level, remembering this includes a fully inclusive 7-day retreat in Ubud. So you're getting a full week's retreat for the training as part of that. The only thing you need to meet, of course, is your airfares. That if you apply for this scholarship and you don't have genuine need, that is also something that you need to take responsibility for, because if you can meet the tuition fee, even if it means you have to make your husband a bit uncomfortable, even if it means that you have to forego something else, then I would definitely invite you to consider that not applying for the scholarship allows those who genuinely cannot meet the full tuition fee to have, it's in a way, it's like you're then sponsoring someone who genuinely can't meet the need. So are there any questions about that? I hope that last statement wasn't obtuse. I think what I'm trying to say is that all of you are worthy of being in this program. There's no question of that. Some of us have more capacity, even if it means that we have to change some things. Maybe we have to cancel some, Netflix subscriptions or whatever. But to recognize that in applying for the scholarship, you would have no other option in how to proceed. And there are amazing women who have absolutely changed their lives in order to be part of the program. I'm looking at you, Cassandra Hartley. No excuses for this woman, incredible powerhouse, incredible intuitive, glorious woman who, with 4 children as a single mother, still found a way without a scholarship to be part of this program because of her yearning and her desire. And I'm so honoured that Cassandra is going to be one of the graduates who is coming to Bali with us to serve those in this next round. We're taking 33 women this time to Bali next month for the training, and Cassandra is one of those women because she has just shown me time and time again that, well, I'm never letting her go because I just adore her too much. Her skill and power is too great, but that she was willing to get deep into this program, even though she had all the excuses as to why she couldn't or shouldn't or whatever it is. So yes, Cassandra, I bow to you, my darling. No excuses whatsoever. And, you know, I will do everything in my power to make sure the world knows about you, because your skill is incredible. And I think that that's really, Cassandra's a great example of that as well, is that prior to the third level, she was already working in this way and her skills were already magnificent, but she was willing to see what else was possible for her. And as a result, I believe, and I've seen written testimonials that confirm this, that her skills just went next level, like probably 10 next levels, because it was, yeah, just such it just kind of turns what is already innate skill into laser-like precision. And I will not rest until we have mainstreamed the intuitive sciences, because when you understand what you're truly working with, and luckily I have Cassandra also now part of the research and spiritual innovation team along with Lisa Smith. This is a growing group, and this is open to anyone who is part of the third level or graduates from the third level who is interested in the science of intuition, because I have a great love for it, but I am not a scientist. And we will actually begin our data collection in Bali on this retreat. We're actually going to start using some of the tools that HeartMath produce, for instance, and we're going to be using quant and qual data collection in order to start measuring the effects of the method on the women who use it. Sorry, there's a fly in front of me. All right, so are there any questions? Is there anything I can answer? I will share all of these details now. I am so excited about this. You know, what we are creating is so incredible, and the third level, you know, is not only the next step. There is another step that I am just going to be announcing to my current third level priestesses this week. All the details are being put together, and that's the postgraduate level. So there is really a commitment for us not to ever believe that our professional development and our spiritual development is done, but to keep continually growing and expanding into this work, and to know that the spiritual leader will always rise, but she will never step away from her own development. So much love to you all. Thank you for joining me on this Monday morning. I know it's a public holiday for some of you, not for me. I'm working today, but for some of you around Australia and around the world, enjoy your day off. And I'm everything just feels incredibly exciting about all of this. I'm so excited that we are able to offer this scholarship, and I'm so excited to see the women who choose to step forward and say, yes, I am ready to lead the revolution. And don't wait, please don't wait, because now is the time. You know, we are at a crossroads as a civilization, and all those who can must. It's not just, what's the beautiful quote, Amy, that you say, it's not enough to stand and be happy. I think I'm paraphrasing badly, but it's that idea that it's not enough for us to use our personal development and our spiritual development and our own abundance just to kind of make our own little patch of the earth better. Our role, if we are awakened in any way, is to serve at the highest possible level. And that's my invitation to you, is go beyond what you believe is possible, because there is so much more that you haven't met yet. Have the most beautiful day.